One Piece Chapter 1091. We got another great setup chapter and a glimpse into the past of Kizaru, Vegapunk, and Sentomaru. We start off with the Marines making their move. We see that mechanized sea beasts are attacking the battleships that come close to the island. The Vice Admirals were facing off with them initially, and we get to see a little look at the power that the Vice Admiral with mad chins has. I almost wanted to say a double chin, but he has like 6 or 7 chins, so looks like he can control steam. I wonder if this is going to end up being a Logia ability. It's a little hard to see in this one panel, but it looks like he has a big ass mechanized arm that says red on it. So it's unclear at the moment whether this is more of a straight up steam ability or more of a steam engine based ability. Then we see Dahl, who is the Vice Admiral that was introduced at the beginning of the arc, along those sword members, kick the hell out of a different sea beast. I don't know if this means she's strictly a hockey based fighter or not, but she clearly has them hands, for sure. We learn that there is actually a hierarchy to controlling the PX3 Pacifista, similar to how it is with the Seraphim, which makes perfect sense since they are all PXs at the end of the day. We see what's going on in the Labostratum, where Dr. Vegapunk and the Straw Hats are looking on and seeing that Kizaru has gone past the defenses and is currently fighting Sentomaru. Vegapunk apologizes to Sentomaru for the fact that he has to fight this cruel fight, and we get to find out why exactly this fight is so cruel very shortly. Kizaru and Sentomaru are really going at it, but it's mainly Kizaru just keeping Sentomaru on the back foot the whole time. Sentomaru leans into his resolve and explains that he'll side with Luffy if it means that the man that saved his life will be able to live on, which makes Kizaru reminisce on their first time meeting Sentomaru. He was a young boy abandoned by his town that even at a young age had the raw power to take out several big ass bears all by himself. Now, this isn't confirmed to be Wano or anything, but you'd assume he'd be from Wano, given the sumo garb he wears, plus the fact that we get the strong warriors don't need to eat joke here. But again, this doesn't get confirmed at all, and I'd be a little surprised if the Marines were just casually in Wano 20 or so years ago, or however long this is. Anyway, they hire young Sentomaru to be Vegapunk's bodyguard, and Kizaru takes him under his wing and teaches him how to harness his natural ability. Sentomaru already wasn't doing too much against Kizaru, but then Kizaru decides to end things and takes Sentomaru out. Now that Sentomaru is out of the picture, he takes control of the Pacifistas and orders them to attack the Sea Beast. So just like that, the Pacifistas are now added to the Marine side, unless one of the Vegapunks overrides their order, and even then, Saint J. Garcia is laying in the background, and his call trumps even the Vegapunks. Sentomaru is officially out of the fight, and you can see that emotionally, this is putting a big strain on the Stella as he is fighting tears as he and Atlas are trying to crack York's passcode. We cut to Luffy's group with Lilith, Bonnie, and Frankie, and Lilith is surprised that the alarm is going off since nobody should be able to get past the barrier right now. Cutting back to Kizaru, he recalls the Marines' objectives of collecting York, preserving the plants for creating the Mother Flame, and preserving punk records. He wishes that old friends could be added to this list, but this chapter is clearly the proof that Kizaru draws a hard line when it comes to fulfilling his duties as a Navy Admiral, even if that means he'll have to oppose those he has a personal relationship with. So if you thought sentimentality might play a role in Kizaru's decision making this chapter, or this arc, this chapter is here to tell us otherwise, as he reiterates that Vegapunk's elimination is priority number 1. The Stellar Group are watching things unfold from the Labostratum when Lucci decides to reveal the punk bitch that he is by trying to sneak Dr. Vegapunk, but once again, Stussy shows her loyalty to Vegapunk by jumping in front of the finger pistol. Lucci reveals that he's still working with the government for some reason. I don't know if he's just a Hall of Fame hater or just not that smart, because at the end of the day, they don't care if he lives or he dies. It feels like we're missing an important part of Lucci's story, seeing as CP9 flee the world government during their cover story, which I will be covering in my cover story review series soon. Check out the playlist after this video so you can catch up before that one drops. But the Straw Hats jump into action. Sanji grabs a bubble gun and puts Kaku in a bubble first and foremost, while chastising him for Lucci not even keeping him in the loop to begin with. Zoro knocks Rob Lucci out the window, and a matchup I was hoping for looks like it's on the way. I've been wanting to see a rematch with Lucci and Zoro ever since CP9 were first revealed, and Lucci made quick work of both him and Luffy. Luffy's gotten his licks in, and now it's Zoro's turn. This mainly leaves Sanji and Jinbei as the protectors of Vegapunk in the short term, although we don't actually see Jinbei this chapter. Lucci tells Zoro it's over for them now that him and Kizaru are working together, but it might be slow for that to be to be quite honest. We cut back to Kizaru and he's greeted with a foot by the one and only Monkey D. Luffy, who says that they're 100 times stronger than they were on Sabaody. This was a dope ass little setup chapter that really does leave you wanting to see what's about to happen next for sure. First of all, I think Awakened Lucci versus Zoro is a much closer fight than Lucci versus Luffy at this point, but I think Zoro will ultimately be able to take him. Also, we see again why Stussy snuck Lucci and Kaku earlier in the arc, because it's clear that she's not the most physically imposing character herself, but she's down for her niggas, so you can't even be mad for real. The real question here is Luffy and Kizaru. The age-old Yonko versus Admiral debate is about to get fired back up this week for sure. Seeing the portrayal that Oda has given Kizaru this whole arc, it's hard for me to see him go down to Luffy this early on, especially when he just reiterated what his goals are. I think this fight is going to show us the true drawbacks of Luffy using Gear 5 multiple times, as it's only been hinted at up to this point, and I think that Kizaru may be our first opportunity to see what an awakened Logia really looks like.